Hello student. In this topic we see about different factors of production. This is very important topic in fundamental agricultural economics course. So already I discussed with you in first topic economics is related with the scared means. Okay? Scared means resources, and in economics we deal with these four resources, and that is also called as factors, which is used for production. So what are the names of that factors? First one is land, second one is labor, third one is capital, and fourth one is enterprise. Okay, now see the next point about production. Okay, production means a creation of value in the goods. Production consists in creating utility in goods for the satisfaction of human wants. Production activity helps in transforming a set of inputs into goods and services. The output which comes out of production has greater utility over the input combined in the production process. According to Dr. F. G. Fairchild, production consists of creation of utility in wealth. So, production is also related with the creation of utility in wealth. Okay, now we see in detail about the four factors of production. What is production? Production means producing goods and services required use of resources. Okay, so this without these resources we cannot take any type of production. All resources can be classified into one of the factors of production. So land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship or enterprise, these are the four factors of production. We see in detail about these four factors of production. In that, first one is land. Okay, so what is the definition of land in economics? Land, as ordinarily understood, refers to Earth's surface. But in economics, the term land is used in a very wide sense. It does not mean surface soil only, but it includes all those which are the free gifts of nature. Marshall defined land as the material and forces which nature gives freely for man's aid in land and water, in air and light and heat. Land refers to those natural resources that are useful and scarce. In other words, land stands for all natural resources which yield an income or have an exchange value. Now see, these are the examples of land. Okay, see the factors, all natural resources. What is the definition of land? All natural resources that are used to produce goods and services. Anything that comes from mother's nature. For example, water, sun, plants, oil, trees, stone, animals, etc. All we can call it commonly as a land. Means land stands for all natural resources which yield an income. So this is the very important meaning or definition of land. Okay, so if in your exam the definition of land is asked, then write Marshall's definition: the materials and forces which nature gives freely for man's aid in land and water, in air and light and heat. Okay, now we see the next point: characteristics of land. Okay, so first characteristics is land is a free gift of nature. Means what? It is given to us free of charge by nature, so we don't make any type of payment. Okay, land is limited in supply, we cannot increase the supply of it. Okay, so the space is very limited. Land is immobile. Factors of production may be asked for your objective questions. Why it is immobile? Because it cannot be transported from one place to another. Okay, products of land are mobile, means whatever the products grown in that land are mobile. For example, if you take any type of production crop like wheat production, cotton, jute, etc., it can be transported from one place to another, but land itself is not mobile. Okay, anything which you can produce in that land, you can transfer it. Okay, then next point, land has original and indestructible qualities, means this cannot be destroyed because these are given by nature. Okay, so the qualities are original. The man tries to improve upon its qualities according to his abilities, but the basic qualities cannot be changed or destroyed. So this is also important characteristics. Then next one is very important, land is a passive factor of production. This sentence may be asked for fill in the blank. Land is a dash factor of production. So why it is passive factor? Because it cannot produce anything by itself. Man has to invest money and apply labor to produce something out of it. So that's why we can call that land is a passive factor of production. The price of land depends upon its situation. Land which are near the water, means rivers and canals, or near cities, command higher price than land situated away from water or cities. So this is also the difference related with the price point. Okay, so these are the different characteristics of land. Now we see the next factor, labor and its characteristics. The labor has wide and diversified meaning in economics. So what is labor? Labor would mean any work, manual or mental, which is done for a reward. It includes the work done by farmers, workers, the services of teachers, doctors, actors, etc. Marshall defined labor as any exertion of mind or body undergone partly or wholly with a view to some amount of money, with a view to some amount of work or getting money. So labor, the four factors of production, any efforts, again the definition of labor is given, any effort a person devotes to a task for which that person is paid. Task means work. Okay, so we can classify the labor as manual laborers, lawyers, doctors, teachers, waiters, so many professions in that we are working, so that is also called as the labor. Okay, characteristics of labor. Labor is inseparable from laborer. Means what? The worker has to sell his labor in person and he has to be physically present while delivering the work. It varies from laborer to laborer, depend on races, climate, physical and mental alertness of that labor. Labor cannot be separated from the laborer, so it is included in the labor. Labor is perishable. Labor means work. Okay. Labor cannot be preserved, which means that laborer has no reserve price. He has to sell the work without really minding the wages for a day's work lost is lost everywhere ever. In other words, it is a flow resource. Okay, it cannot be stock. Labor has very weak bargaining power. Perishability of labor is a prime factor for the laborer, which rather forces him to accept whatever the wage that is offered. The weak bargaining power of the laborer is taken as an advantage by the employer. Okay, now the next characteristics, lack of free mobility. Compared to capital, labor is less mobile. No doubt that laborers move from one place to another and from one occupation to another occupation, but it is not common feature. This labor lacks horizontal and geographical mobility. Now, supply of labor is independent of its demand. Means what? Supply of labor depends on the population of a country. Population is one factor which can neither be increased nor decreased overnight. So the increase or decrease is a slow process and supply of labor is independent of demand. Now the next point, supply of labor peculiarly changes with the wages. Normally the seller of a good sells more when the price per unit of commodity is higher and vice versa. But regarding labor, a fall in wage leads to an increased supply of labor. A fall in wages leads to reduction of their incomes. So, to make good this fall in income, family members who were not working earlier work to supplement the family income. So, supply of labor peculiarly changes with the wages. If your family members size is big, then you have to focus on getting more income. Okay, for that purpose the uh, seller sells more when the price per unit of commodity is higher. Now, different efficiency. Laborers are of different efficiency. Some are more efficient on account of their ability, training, and skill. Others are less efficient on account of their literacy and ignorance. Efficient laborers work better. Means and end means what? Laborer is a means of production as well as an end because he is the consumer also. It is different from land and capital as they are only the means of production and not an end. But here laborer is a end, okay, because he is the consumer also. Whatever is produced is also consumed by the labor force. Therefore, labor is both a means and an end of production. Okay. Now, the next point, labor is active factor of production. It is not a passive factor because labor is more active factor of production than the land, which a passive factor of production. Labor is also as essential factor because without labor, land, natural resources or capital are of no use. Different from capital. Labor is different from capital. In what sense? The nature of labor is different from the nature of other factors of production. Labor has its own likes and dislikes, feelings, desire to take rest. It influenced by the behavior of employer and in turn influences him. It is not easy to estimate the cost of producing the labor force in a country, whereas capital has no such problems. Therefore, labor is different from capital. Now, see what is division of labor. This is also one of the important concept in labor. When the making of an article is split up into several processes and each process is entrusted to a separate set of workers, it is called division of labor. Okay, now division of labor is associated with the labor efficiency and it helps in large scale production. For example, I am giving here one example. Making the number of chair will be more if the process is split up into different parts like making seats, backrest, legs and then assembling the parts instead of making the chair individually. So each worker has a specific task. If each worker has a specific task, then that particular work is means that work is over within a time period also and that is easy also. So for that purpose division of labor is very important. Okay, now the next factor, the four in the four factors of production, we see the next factor, capital. Any human made resource that is used to create other goods and services. Any human made resource. Okay, we can call that particular concept as a capital. For example, see the examples of capital: tools, tractors, machinery, building, company, factories, etc. are the capital. Now, capital. See the definition of capital. Capital is defined as the produce means of further production. Produce means of further production is called as capital. So, all capital is wealth, but all wealth is not capital, because I am telling you in basic concept, wealth consists of different forms. It also consists of representative wealth. It also consists of different types of forms. So hence, all capital is wealth, but all wealth is not capital. Now, see the characteristics of capital. Capital is man-made, means artificial. This is very important characteristics. Capital is not a free gift of nature. See the example: machinery, implements, etc. are considered as capital goods. It increases the productivity of resources, and that's why we have to use that goods. Capital is perishable as it can be destroyed. Capital is highly mobile because as it possesses the characteristics of territorial mobility. For example, capital goods like tractor can be taken to different places for work and can be used for variety of works. So this is called as territorial mobility, and that's why capital is highly mobile factor of production. Capital is a passive factor of production. Unless it is combined with labor, capital is of no use and remains idle. So that's why capital is a passive factor of production. Now, the next factor is entrepreneurship or entrepreneur. So, entrepreneurship means ambitious leaders that combine the other factors of production to create goods and services. Because if you have land, labor, capital, but there is no any owner to handle these capitals, then there is no any production. So ambitious leader is very important. See the example: Henry Ford, Bill Gates, inventors, store and business owners. So these are the specific examples. What is entrepreneurs? These entrepreneurs take the initiative for the work, innovate something, okay, assumes the risk so they can get profit. So ultimate aim of this fourth factor is getting profit out by combination of different factors, by taking combination of different factors. Now see the enterprise or organization and its characteristics. An entrepreneur is the coordinator of all other factors of production. So this is also very important point for fill in the blanks. He has to plan, organize and direct the other factors of production, arrange for marketing the produce and take risk and uncertainties. Now, functions of an entrepreneur. Functions of initiation. He take the initiation for that particular work. In that he plan the total work. Okay, planning is done. Initiation of choice of location, where we have to locate that particular project. Okay, so where we have to start the production. Function of coordination, coordination between different departments. Then function of innovation, which are the different products we have to produce. In that the innovative activities he done. And functions of bearing risk and uncertainty, risk about your prices, okay, or anything other factors. So that is also very important functions performed by an entrepreneur. Okay, so these are the different factors of production. So again you read it carefully, and this is also very important lesson for exam point of view. Thank you.